Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into an incredibly high-stakes topic today, navigating the massive, ground-up shifts in Iraq's customs landscape. With billions of dollars of equipment flowing into the region, 2026 has literally completely rewritten the rulebook. So today we're breaking down the exact source data and protocols you need to ensure your logistics chain doesn't just survive, but actually thrives under this newly overhauled system. Let's get into it. To really grasp the gravity of these updates, picture this scenario. You've got a massive 40-foot container packed to the brim with highly specialized oilfield machinery. It just arrived at the port of Qasr. Now, in previous years, you might have relied on a familiar, paper-based routine to clear it, right? Well, today, under the new digital rules, a single missing document or even just a mismatched code means your container is immediately trapped on the dock. And that trap, it gets incredibly expensive, incredibly fast. So, the crucial point is this. You are looking at a brutal $150 to $300 daily demurrage and detention fee the absolute second your port free time expires. If your documents don't comply with the 2026 standards, you aren't just facing annoying delays, you are eating hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars in fees while your container just sits there, completely motionless. Our goal today is to make absolutely sure you never have to pay that penalty. Here's a quick roadmap of the 5 crucial steps we're going to cover to guarantee your shipments sail as smoothly. The ACUSDUA Shockwave, pre-declaration prep, the document checklist, valuations and agents, and finally, clearing that 40-foot container.
All right, moving into Section 1, the 2026 ACUC Shockwave. Everything changed at the start of 2026 thanks to Cabinet Decision No. 957.
On January 1st, 2026, the ASCDUAD World System was fully rolled out at major ports like Qasr and across key border crossings. This mandatory electronic system officially replaced the old paper-based processing. Now, while this massive digital shift was obviously designed to improve transparency, the sudden implementation caused some serious initial backlogs. Factually speaking, by early 2026, this sudden shift triggered nationwide merchant strikes, particularly over in Baghdad. Traders were protesting the sharp cost increases and the total lack of a grace period, which led to thousands of containers getting stuck at Umm Qasr port. Ultimately, the federal court upheld the tariff changes, but the government did step in and make some adjustments to ease the pressure. And this brilliantly illustrates the core of that friction: valuation. Under the old system, importers often benefited from a really simple flat fee structure. But the 2026 ASCU DUDA system, it enforces a super strict item-based valuation that is entirely tied to historical data. Suddenly, bulk commodities and oilfield equipment were facing massive, unexpected duty spikes simply because the system automatically compares your invoice value against its massive historical database. Thankfully, to help ease the intense pressure during those chaotic early months, a temporary 25% reduction in some valuation rates was announced late in January. Which brings us to Section 2, Essential Pre-Declaration Prep. You really can't wait for your ship to come in anymore. The absolute biggest procedural shift in 2026 is that pre-custom declarations are now mandatory, and they have to be integrated with the banking system before your vessel even arrives. Your prep checklist must include an incredibly accurate commercial invoice with exact HS code matching, your declared CIF value, consignee Incoterms with a tax ID, and, crucially, this is huge, bank transfer proof for customs duties linked to dollar access. If you decide to skip this pre-declaration process, you are just throwing yourself at the mercy of ASUCUDA's historical valuation, which usually results in massive duty spikes and severe delays. I want you to listen to this insight directly from our source material. We've noticed a stricter verification process for certificate of origin and pre-shipment inspection. This right here is exactly where Iraqi customs officials are cracking down the hardest during the verification process. The days of sliding by with incomplete or unverified origin documents are totally over. The electronic system demands perfection. This flows perfectly into Section 3, the mandatory document checklist. A single missing paper here is basically an automatic rejection. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how requirements diverge sharply depending on exactly what you're importing. Both oilfield and bulk shipments absolutely require a bilingual commercial invoice, a legalized certificate of origin with an Iraqi embassy stamp, and an ICGI insurance certificate that covers 110% of the CIF value.
But here is the catch. If you're importing oilfield machinery, specifically items falling under Chapters 84 to 90, a pre-inspection certificate from an agency like SGS is mandatory. Bulk shipments generally don't need this, but for machinery, skipping the SGS check is a guaranteed roadblock.
And hey, if you are in the oil and gas sector, pay very close attention to this. Your exact HS codes on your customs documentation absolutely must perfectly match the permits issued by the Ministry of Oil. A mismatch here isn't just brushed off as a minor typo. The ASUCODA system will immediately flag it, your clearance will freeze, and those daily $150 to $300 demurrage fees are going to start compounding while you scramble to untangle the bureaucratic mess.
Furthermore, the rules around language are just way stricter for these specialized items. For oil field equipment in Chapters 84 through 90, things like pumps, valves, and drilling pipes, you have to provide highly accurate Arabic translations. Your commercial invoices need to be cleanly bilingual, and if you're moving any chemicals associated with this machinery, your Materials Safety Data Sheets, or MSDs, must also be fully translated into Arabic. Listen, if the electronic system or the inspecting agent cannot verify the exact nature of the goods in Arabic, they aren't going to pull out a dictionary to help you out. They will simply reject your filing. Let's move into Section 4, Valuations and Licensed Agents. Having the right team on the ground is basically everything right now.
Just look at the stark visual contrast in these clearance timelines based on recent trade activities. If you pre-declare through the approved banks, match your HS codes perfectly, and have all your translations ready to go, you're looking at a 7 to 14-day clearance window, even dealing with current ASUCODA congestion. But if you fail to pre-declare, or if you trigger a valuation dispute, you are staring down 21 days or more of pure delays. This is exactly why you must aggressively vet your on-the-ground team. You really want to look exclusively for licensed customs agents who can actually prove a track record of clearing goods specifically under the new ASUCODA framework. The learning curve is simply way too expensive to fund their on-the-job training. All right, Section 5. Let's bring all this together and execute our real-world scenario of clearing a 40-foot container. Okay, let's dive into this optimal compliant clearance timeline. Step 1. Do not wait for the vessel to arrive. You need to pre-lodge your Arabic invoices, your legalized certificates of origin, and your ICGI policies 7 to 10 days early. Step 2. Have your licensed ASUDIG agent actively monitor the submission to catch any weird system flags before the container even hits the dock. Step 3. By doing all this prep work, you successfully navigate the Qasr congestion, clearing right within that 7 to 14-day window. For a 40-foot container of oilfield gear, you can generally expect standard agent and customs fees to run between $900 and $1,500. But hey, what if you have a crazy tight rig schedule and literally cannot risk a 14-day wait at the southern ports? Well, the source data provides a brilliant contingency plan for that. You can use the bonded transit route. By routing your urgent drilling pipes or valves through the treble border with Jordan or maybe the Safwan border, you can apply bonded transit seals. This often shaves critical days off the timeline compared to a full clearance at congested maritime ports, getting your equipment straight to the rig site. We've seen today how a shift from paper to digital can instantly rewrite the rules of international logistics, trapping the unprepared and deeply rewarding those who adapt. The 2026 Iraq Customs overhaul is really a masterclass in why proactive compliance is the ultimate competitive advantage. So, I'm going to leave you with this. Looking at how fast these protocols transformed, is your supply chain agile enough to survive the next sudden regulatory shift in global trade? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Stay focused, stay prepared, and I'll catch you guys next time.